Just Eff It. Hi, I'm Romy, an identity coach helping others who struggle with their sexual identity and families of queer youth find their path of understanding and acceptance.
And I'm Carla, a mom empowerment coach empowering moms to own their new identities and motherhood journeys.
And together we are the EFFing Madres. We are here to invite you guys into stories of some inspiring madres
who have changed their lives through an Eff It moment. So here we go. Just Eff It.
Hey guys, happy Monday. Mamacita Monday.
Mamacita Madre. I'm always
Camaraderie Monday.
Yeah, did you say camaraderie? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Camaraderie. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
Camaraderie.
Monday Madre, Motivation Monday, all the good things that come on a Monday because we want to flip it, that Mondays aren't a horrible start to the week, but something inspiring to kind of remind us, what we're doing. We are the EFFing Madres. I'm Romy. This is Carla. For those of you tuning in for the first time, for those of you that are joining us again, welcome back. And we're two best friends, two mamas, two Latinas. We got daughters, and we said Eff It. We started a podcast, and we got inspired by hearing other moms say Eff It. And Eff It it's a mind shift, really. It's a mental change. It's an inner dialogue, as a mom, as a woman, that lets you push through those scary moments and obstacles and mental phases of your life by saying Eff It and going after it. And we get to see the beautiful stories of what's on the other side, what's it's like to go through it, and what it was like to just tap into that. So who do we have today, Carla?
So we have a mama named Berit Prendergast. I hope I said her name right. She is a mom of 3 boys, and she's also a mompreneur. Also, she has her own business and everything. And I believe her Eff It moment was that she and her family just up and decided to move to Italy.
I love it.
Yeah, they were living here in LA, and then they said Eff It. She said Eff It, whatever. And they are now living in Italy.
So. I'm fascinated by this because so many of us in the last week have had that conversation of we're just going to leave and go to another country and I want to get out of here, and then you hear people that actually did it.
Yeah. And and she's got 3 boys. So it's and they're young kids. They're not older.
Oh my God,
they're young.
I cannot wait to hear.
So that's a pretty big Eff It moment to have. And I'm curious to know what sort of things she and her family faced making that decision and how it's impacted them. So we're going to have her come on in just a moment.
Perfect. Can't wait.
Everyone, we have Berit Prendergast. I said it right,
Yay!
right? Okay. I butchered it before. She's here. She's luckily here in LA, so the time worked out because had she been in Italy, I don't think this ever would have happened.
It might be a little bit harder.
But okay, we're going to jump in right to the first question, which is, what was the biggest Eff It moment since becoming a mom?
Okay, I think the biggest moment is when we decided to move our 3 children from Los Angeles to Italy. It's kind of something originally that we were thinking maybe later in life, maybe you retire in Italy. Andre has a lot of family there. So it just kind of felt like a far off thing that maybe one day we would do. We had 1 kid, then we had 2 kids, then surprise, we had 3 kids. With that 3rd one, a lot of things changed. We're in Los Angeles. Obviously, it's an expensive city. We had an amazing house, but our house was really small. And we just started to think about, were there other places we might be able to move? But there weren't really any other places in the US calling our name. And my husband, I feel like for a while was really all about maybe we move to Italy. Maybe we could do this. And I was like, I'm from Los Angeles. I don't know. Maybe have this idea, but I don't really believe that this is what we're going to do. And then our oldest son, he at the time, I think when we really decided this, was turning 8. So getting a little bit older. We had the 4-year-old. We had a baby. And we started to talk about all the pros and cons, what was really our list of priorities. And for us, it was things like safety for our children, affordable education, the food system, more nature around them. And we kept coming back to Italy as being a place that offered these things. And because my husband's father was born in Italy, there was also this opportunity to get citizenship.
Mm.
So we started to explore it more and more. And my husband's like, I'm just going to work on getting all my paperwork together. And maybe we'll just do citizenship here. And then we'll have the ability to go there if we want to go there
Mm-hmm.
at some point. And the kids also get citizenship through my husband automatically because they're under 18. So it's kind of like they all get it. Then mom gets a spousal visa or something.
Yeah.
So don't want her to get left behind.
Yeah.
And then we could all go maybe at some point. And then things just started getting harder and there was more stress. And there was a moment, at least for me, where we were talking and we were thinking about our life. And it felt like, okay, let's look at our life if we stay here. If we stay in Los Angeles, this is really what our life will look like. We will have to stay in this house. We love the house, but it's very tiny for 5 people, especially like 3 growing boys. But financially, like moving to the next level would never make sense for us. So really, everything right now is almost like as if you're seeing your next 20 years.
Yes.
And in that moment, that was like a moment for me where I was like, oh, but not that I don't love my life here, but like, I don't want this 20 years to just be like, this is what it's going to be. Yeah. And I'm just accepting that this is what it's going to look like. This is where we're going to live. Kids are going to school here. The struggle, the grind, like always, and it's never feels like it's enough. You make more money, it's not enough. Life is more expensive. And I thought, well, the kids are still young enough that we can move them and it won't be like, the most traumatizing experience where they're going to hate you if you like pull them from high school.
Yeah.
And like feeling like maybe the next 20 years could be more of an adventure. Maybe if we take a different path now, we still have energy. We're still, we're not young, but like,
yeah,
it's not trying to do a big change like that at 65. And then you move and like your kids don't visit you because they're not connected to this faraway place that you've chosen to live. And then you probably don't move because your kids are getting older and maybe they're having children and you want to be in their life. So then you don't really ever go do the dream of, retiring in Italy.
That's such a good point that I haven't thought of is once you do those moves, like how do you keep connected to your family afterwards? And I didn't think about that, that like you've now adjusted them to it. So it's a familiar place. It's okay to go back and forth. They're used to it in a way that it wouldn't be if you just up and left when they're in college, and they're like, where are our parents?
Yeah. And they're like, oh, they live in Italy now. And then they wouldn't speak Italian.
Right.
Yeah.
They would have no connection to this place except us like begging them, like, we'll pay for your plane tickets.
Yeah, come visit.
Please come visit for 3 weeks this summer.
I want to ask you though, like what were the hurdles like mentally that you encountered as you were going through this? Because you're speaking, like as you're speaking, just so you know, I know for me and Carla and many of my friends, we have all had those thoughts. Every thought that you have said, the money, the safety, the food, how do we do it? And like, obviously we don't do it. Like we haven't done it. No, we haven't done it yet, but like you sure you're selling me here. So what mental like battles kind of did you have to go through having that effort moment? This is big.
I think it was having that visual of being like, okay, this is what it's going to be. And then I don't know, I just kind of like opened myself up to accepting that it is going to be extremely hard. We're going to be completely taken out of everything that's comfortable. But like, I don't want to just make choices because it's familiar or it's comfortable. I want to make choices based off this list we made of priorities.
Yes.
Mhm.
And maybe getting those priorities, there's going to be a lot of challenge to get them in line and start to have them be a part of our everyday. But the only way that's going to happen is if we make some big changes. And so accepting like it's going to be hard, but we also were like in it together in
Mhm.
such a deep way, which I would never have been able to to do this without like a partner who was like, we're going to do this. I'm on board 100%. And so I think that's a big part of it too, is like we are there and there are days that are so hard and overwhelming, but we're also together doing it.
Right. Yeah, you're all bonded in this new
Yeah.
experience that is difficult for everyone on different levels, but it is
Yeah.
building that connection between you guys so much stronger.
Yeah.
So that's really
And even just our kids, like we are spending so much more time with them because life is just not as stressful.
yeah.
And we're in this place exploring together and learning together. And I think also like setting an example for them, they're seeing like we did a really hard thing.
Mhm.
There are days where they're looking at us like, it's gonna be okay, mommy. And I'm like, is it? Is it gonna be okay? I don't know what tomato sauce or what mozzarella to buy. um so they're also like they have their own struggles and adjustments, and they also see that like it's not easy for us, but each day we're all getting better at a new thing.
That has so much to do with like the next, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Like the question was, what
yeah.
impact did it have on your relationship, specifically with your partner? Like how has that bond been with Andre to have this?
I'm, I mean, I think it's brought us so close in a way that is like we're just like on this new level of okay, we are supporting each other, we're in this, and I know that reminding each other too, like I know we're going to get to that other side. And some days it's one person having a harder time and one person not really having a capacity to handle. And then other days it's flip flop.
Mhm.
And you're just like going back and forth. And yeah, I mean, I think that we have been so committed to doing this thing together. And we're also observing, I mean, it's like almost 3 months in or something. It's very fresh.
Oh,
But
it's
also
really, you've only been
together.
there 3 months?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We are
Wow.
very fresh.
Oh, you are in it. You're in your F it moment.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Every day it's like, okay, I'm going to tackle this today. I'm going to learn. Like every day you're learning something new or like 20 new things. Like it is a lot.
But so
Wow.
exciting
But
though. Like
I
it's
know.
got to be so
it is.
exciting to be learning and also like learning it with your partner, with your kids all together. That's got to be such a
Yes.
special experience.
It is. I mean, now I just came back to LA for work, and my husband was asking me today, he's like, do you still feel like happy you're in Italy? Are you feeling like now that you're back in LA, like pulled back to all those things? And I was like, I'm actually happy that we have the best of both worlds. Like, I'm so happy that our family is having this experience in Italy and the children are loving it and thriving and like having all of the experiences that we had hoped they'd have. Like, their relationship with food is changing, their whole energy. My son's like sensory sensitivity has completely gone away. Like,
Mm.
there are some major things happening because of this move. And then we come here and we have work and our friends are here and you can come into this space and you can still feel connected and have these moments, but I just don't have to live in the grind of it
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like
And
it's not like LA is still here.
it's
Yeah.
always going to be
Everyone's
there, and
still
it's
here.
never really going to change much. So if you want a
No.
taste of it, it's not going anywhere. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
getting harder
Hopefully it doesn't
and
get
more
worse.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't get worse, but
Yeah.
Hopefully not. I was like, God, it is really
I mean,
expensive.
I
yeah.
was just reposting even this week, like Italy's like banning like all the fake food and fake meat. And I'm
They
like,
did.
oh my goodness,
Yeah.
like how?
It is mind-blowing going into just seeing how they treat food, how much
Oh,
respect there is for food. Even the cheapest brand in the market is higher quality than like so much food here, even like the highest quality here. Like it's
is
just
it easily
mind-blowing.
accessible to all? It's just a side question. Like, is it not just like level of wealth or overall as a place everyone has access to good food?
From what I'm seeing, I think that it is accessible probably to most. I mean, I can't say all, but I do think that the
Yeah.
cost of food is something that is at a level where most people can probably still have fresh produce and still have high quality food, not in the way here. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, the cheapest option is going to
Right,
McDonald's.
right,
Like
right.
that's the only
The
way that I
only
can feed
option
my
to feed your
family of
family.
five
Yeah.
for this amount of money.
Yeah.
That's not how it is there.
My next question for you then would be, what fears did you have surrendering? You're in this. You're still in this. So like what fears come up for you now that you've done this?
I mean, I guess there is just like the language is hard. I'm like, am I ever gonna learn Italian? That's
You
my biggest
will.
fear.
You totally will.
I'm like, will I be able to speak to my 2-year-old? Because he's probably only gonna speak Italian.
That's
Oh,
so
yeah.
cool
Yeah.
though. That's so cool.
Yeah. You'll learn it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like more that is like just being okay with it. The language is hard for me.
Mhm.
I'm 41 years old. I don't speak any other languages. Trying to learn a new language at like the rate I see my children already learning language.
Yeah.
Like Bruno's in a preschool where they only speak Italian to him all day, which is amazing. I'm so happy. But also I'm like, oh my God, I gotta make sure I can keep up with this dream that I had of my children speaking Italian.
Yeah.
I love you saying your age just because every one of us right here is
41.
41. And we like to really promote the fact that age doesn't matter. We get to restart, we get to recreate,
Yeah.
we get to
And
get up
learn.
and move
Yeah.
and start. Like it's really inspiring because so many people turn 40 or afraid of 40, get into and they're like, this is it. This is what
Yeah.
life is. We have our kids. Everything we
Yeah.
dreamed of is gone. And now we have to just work like robots, right? To feed,
Yeah.
work, you know what I mean? And like hearing your
Yeah.
story and being in this like power 40s are powerful for me. They're really powerful. But
Yes,
like,
I agree.
yeah, I'm just like, here you are just like, F it, we're going to Italy. I'm gonna learn Italian. Like
Exactly. I mean, honestly, it could have been the opposite of what you're saying. I could have been like, I'm 40. Like,
right.
Yeah,
I'm
you
going
could
to
have
move
taken the safe route.
somewhere. I got
Totally.
3 kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've lived here my whole life. Like,
Yes.
it just seems like a lot
Exactly. Yes.
easier and safer. And a lot of people told us not to move. I mean, people were
Sure.
like, you're going to make your life so hard. What are you guys going to do there?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it just seems like a bad idea. I mean, many people, but I was like, I'm 40. Like,
Yeah.
I literally can transform my life. So when
Yes.
I wake up at 60, guess
Yeah.
Yes.
what? I'll be speaking Italian.
Yes. And you'll
I'll be
have
living in
much better
Italy.
health
Yes,
than
you
us
will.
mentally from your food. Like you're going to be like one of those like really healthy, amazing, powerful 60-year-olds, not like some of us here
I
that,
hope.
that
On
are
a Vespa,
rotting away.
riding off cobblestone
Right.
streets, eating a bowl of pasta. Oh my
Absolutely.
God.
It's like Marissa Tomei is all I see right now.
Oh my God, I love it. I hope so.
Well, I'm curious to know, like, when you guys finally, or when you really decided to say F it, the emotions that went through, because I mean, I didn't make a big move like you, but we did move to Florida, and I just remember the for a hot second, now we're back in LA. But I had this like, this is going to be great. This is going to be a chance for a new. And then all of a sudden, all the other emotions started to come in. Like, what if this fucking sucks? Like, which it ultimately
Yeah.
did. But like, how were those emotions? Was it like a roller coaster for you, or were you pretty set when you were like, nope, we're going?
I think I'm not much of like an overthinker. I was like, I decided we're gonna do this. We're gonna do it. It's gonna be hard. And like challenges come up, and I'm like, okay, these are things that people warn me about. I knew that these things were gonna be hard. It's okay. Tomorrow's another day. Each day is gonna get a little bit easier. I don't kind of get stuck in like, well, what if it is going to be like that? Or what if? I'm like, I know today,
Yeah.
and I'm going to live in today in
Ugh.
this moment. I don't know if I'm going to live in Italy forever, but like,
Mhm.
I want to give this opportunity a try. You
Yeah.
can't do this kind of move for 6 months and be like, I'm not happy, I'm going to go back. Like, it's so hard. You have
Mhm.
to like commit to really doing it and being there, and like nurturing this new place and new experience. And then, maybe in 5 years we'd be like, oh, maybe we want to move back. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I am committed to, like, once we did it, I was like, I'm doing this,
Yeah.
I heard a podcast this morning that was talking about how if each day you just look at how can I be happy today? Like today's
Yeah,
my life, right? If you looked at each day as in like this is my life today. And then the next day
that's
you just
it.
like reopened up and you're like, okay, today, what do I do for joy today? And if you're
Yeah,
not committed to like, oh, we moved to Italy, so this is where we are for life, but you don't look at it like that. You don't feel as trapped when
Yeah.
your mind isn't locked into those type
yeah,
of things. It's one thing to commit and go through with it, right? Like I'm going to do this,
yeah.
and I'm going to follow through with this, but I can also change it again.
Yeah, and I mean, we can all say, like, think about the future and worry about things
Yeah.
or whatever, but you literally have no control over it.
None.
You have today.
Yes.
You have a choice to like be here, have joy, be invested in the decision you made,
Mhm.
Yes.
and try to keep growing. And then we don't know how it's going to be,
No.
however long down the line.
But
But I am
hearing you
excited.
hearing you have kids at that age, age gaps, those age, you guys, being somebody my age who I can relate to, us all being from Los Angeles, you get, and then like the idea, it's so inspiring. And I know any mom listening with like the things that we are struggling with here, I
Yeah.
cannot tell you. I told Carla, after even just being in Austin this week and dealing with shootings and stuff like that, I had multiple friends be like, I just want to leave the country around me. And
I
we've all
know.
said it so many times and I've heard it so many times. And then you
Mhm.
hear someone like
Yeah.
you that was like, oh,
We did it.
they just fucking did it. Like she did go. Like,
You can do it.
Yeah.
we're not like having a conversation with you watching the news going, God, I wish I lived in another
Oh,
country.
we
You're
should.
like,
Yeah.
bye. Like,
Yeah.
And I have to say that as parents, like as a mom, I don't think we all realize how much daily anxiety and stress we exist with,
Yes.
and that we have to really like suppress, because we do have to go outside. We do have to let our children go to school.
Yeah.
We do have to do all these things,
yes.
but we do live in a country where shootings happen all the time. Where there hasn't been one school shooting, there's been hundreds of school
Hundreds.
shootings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'm in a place where that doesn't happen.
I know. That's
And to
unbelievable.
have that not be something that
Unbelievable.
it isn't, and you don't realize it. Like I actually, my body feels different. Like you do
Yeah.
not realize until you are removed from it, all of that, like dropping them off, like, oh, are the security guards watching everything
Yep.
today? Like,
That's
oh, is that door locked? Is that gate okay? Yeah, who's that guy in the front? Like, that's a little weird. There'd be someone, like, all the things,
I mean, we
Yeah.
never
everything.
thought, yeah, like we just never thought, as kids and with our childhood and going to school, it's such a different world
Yeah.
today. And this week, getting a email that my daughter's school is on lockdown because there's
Oh
an
my
active shooter.
God.
She's 7 years old. I'm like,
It's terrifying. It's the
what
worst
world are we
nightmare.
living in
Yeah.
right now? And when you say that, like, you don't worry about that's not something that's on the news there. That's not something that you have to fear your
Yeah.
child going to school. Even that on the
Yeah.
nervous system is
Yeah.
huge.
It's a huge weight
Yeah.
to be taken off your shoulder. Like it's my daughter, we're looking at preschools and we're like, which one do we send her to? Because some
I
don't
know.
have security and some have massive amounts of security. And it's just like,
Yeah.
what do we, obviously the massive one, but it's a Jewish school with everything going on. And it's just like, what do we do?
No.
It's just a lot. It is
It's
so
It
much.
heavy.
So
really
It's
is.
hard.
yeah, like I'm
It's
sure
very
your body
hard.
probably even feels looser just from like the tense
Yeah.
of
And
stress.
I also have to like retrain myself,
Yeah.
because I'm so used to not letting my children like be too far from me.
Yeah.
You can't just
Right.
go over there by yourself. What do you think you're doing? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even let them go in front of the house in Los Angeles like on our little lawn if there wasn't like an adult right there. Like,
Well,
you know,
it's so funny you say that because as we're on this call and after this week that I've had with all the shootings in our, in our city this week, my daughter is right now at someone's house that I go to church with who I love, who's very close to me. This is the first time I've like she asked her to come over, be with their
and you're
family,
like,
watch Christmas movies, which was how we grew up and things that you
of
want your kids to
course.
do. And it's wild that we are
And
in
they should be
such
allowed to.
that you remember we all did that stuff. And I'm sitting here with every
Yeah.
question, and not that family I love and know, and I'm releasing
Yeah,
that like freedom because I want her to have a life. But
of
we have been
course.
us as parents know the reality of how fearful it is to just let our kids even be a hand foot away from us, in other
Yeah.
I
people's
know.
care.
Mm-mm.
I know.
And in
I
other
know.
countries, it's such a community and it's so free and it's safe. And
Yes.
I mean, I
they're
don't know if
not.
it's like this in Italy, but I've known in Spain, they like parents do like parents go to like a park with their kids and the parents are having glasses of wines where their kids are all playing around and I'm just like, "Oh, where is that here?"
I
Like,
know.
"Oh my god, like where is
Yeah, here
that
you're like,
here?"
I don't know who you're talking to. I don't know those people. Like, like
I
it's
know.
just, we're on such high alert so much that the stress level is literally killing us. And it is
Yeah.
giving us
I know.
diseases, and the
Yeah.
food is, and the stress is. And to be reminded there are still places out there where you can
Yeah.
remove some of that is like such a beautiful reminder. My last
No,
question though would be
yeah.
for you is what advice would you give somebody, because you are in it? What advice, being in it right now, would you give somebody that's like thinking about this?
I would just say don't overthink it because you're going to waste all this time. I mean, so many people have been, writing us and asking questions and like, how do you do this? And I just think that you have to decide you want to do it and then you fully have to commit to it. And you have to know it is going to be one of the biggest challenges of your life to do a move like this. I mean, think of how hard it is just to move states,
That's what we
to
did.
move
Yeah.
cities. To move to another country is very challenging. But I also think if you can accept that it's going to be hard, but know that on the other side of that challenge can be something probably pretty extraordinary.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you can focus on that, I think that a lot more people would do it. You just
Mhm.
can't sit and be like, well, how would I possibly do, like overthinking, delaying. I think you have to like, look at what your list is of the things that are the most important to you. Italy met like almost all on our list. And so then we were like, okay, now is the time. And
Yeah.
now how do we make it happen?
I
Yeah.
think a big question for me to move to another country would be like, what do I do there? Like, how is it working?
Yeah. I was just going to ask you, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know that you have your like the gift basket. What is it with
Yeah.
Valley? What is
Valley Brink Road is our company.
yeah.
So we have a gifting company. We still have our business in Los Angeles. I mean, I don't have a business in Italy.
Mhm.
I think that's a big part of it for people is like different types of jobs. Obviously, you can go to
Mm-hmm.
places and work remotely. So we have a warehouse here. When it's busy, I come in. I'm here for holiday. This is our busy season. But outside of that, most of what I do is remote. I make proposals for clients. I'm coming up with gift ideas for businesses. All of that I can do from anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't have to be in this office to do that.
I have a very good friend who just bought a place in Italy, has opened it up to us. We're shooting at her house, Carla,
Oh,
CJ,
okay.
and
Oh, wow.
Aviva. They bought a place in Italy, and she can work out there a certain amount of time of
Yes.
the year. Her business is in LA. She
Yeah.
works on random hours in Italy and just sets herself up there on the computer to work, and like you, with her business in LA.
Yeah, I mean, we live in an age where there is a lot of opportunity with remote work. So I also feel like people are like, well, I can't go, I can't move because this is where my work is. Well, honestly, if you really wanted to figure it out, I'm sure there are many different ways that you could explore other ways to make money remotely because now there are so many companies that hire remote workers. There's so many different types of work you can do remotely.
So true.
So again, if it's something someone really wants, I do think that it's just about exploring, like not taking no for an answer,
Yeah.
being like, I really want to do this. So how could I possibly do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you got to step
Yeah.
out of the box. You have to step out of the
Yeah.
box. Yeah.
Yeah.
You absolutely do. It's so inspiring. This is where I'd love for you to share then, since we're on the thing of work, this is where we come to an end so people can follow you, so they can support you, so they can go see your work. Share all the things, all the places, all the hashtags, sites, give it to us.
Okay, so if you need gifts, it's valleybrinkroad.com. That's the website. We also have Instagram at valleybrinkroad. If you want to follow our Italy journey,
Yes.
that's at Barrett Prendergast on Instagram. And we also have a Substack email or a Substack newsletter that is Barrett and the Boys. And that's where we share a lot of the Italy information, kind of a lot of step-by-step on how we're doing it. So hopefully we can help people. Like we did the citizenship meeting, we did the residency, like it's complicated.
Mhm.
So we've been sharing that weekly. Also recipes and
I was just gonna
all the
say,
kids like
I'm fault. You had me at recipe.
food
Yeah.
because I see
Yeah.
what you guys
The food,
eat, and I'm
guys,
like,
the
if
food.
she
Yeah.
saw what I made or what we made for our family, she'd be like, "What are you eating?" It's like,
You would always tell me that. You're like,
Yeah.
well, now
you
it's
had
we
me.
love
now it is
food.
Italy, like straight up
Yeah.
pasta
I
from
know.
Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. No, we
Well,
love food. I mean, that was like that's like very high on our list. Some people are foodies and really care about food. And like we will travel for food. We move for food.
my friend who I told you just bought out there, she is like all about food. That's all. Her whole life is food.
Yeah.
Her and her wife, and so that's the same thing. They fell in love with it. They
the
share their
best.
food. They post these photos, and I'm like, these people are living like out of a dream. You know, I'm just like, I feel like I'm like, what? How? But it's
Yeah.
any of us can do it if we want it. So
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
You
that's the
can.
message. We are so grateful that you took the
Thank
time to come
you.
and share this with us.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you
thank
so
you for
much,
having
Barrett.
me. This was so wonderful.
Yeah, it worked
I'm happy
out.
we got to do it while I was in
Yes,
LA.
it worked out. We
Yes,
made
we're
it work.
so grateful. The timing was perfect. It was meant to be.
Yeah.
It really was.
I love
you
you as a
guys.
brunette too, by the way.
Thank you. I
She was really
know.
blonde when I was seeing her.
Low maintenance.
Yeah.
Low
It's
maintenance.
really-
She's
it's
in a new
Italy.
era. She
She's
doesn't
a
need
new
The new
era.
me.
She's
Yeah.
not in California anymore. She's an
Yeah.
Italian brunette.
Yep. All right.
right.
Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time because I know you're on a
Yes.
trip. So this is where we're gonna say
Just
F
F
it.
it.